And we should be live. Let me go ahead and check.
There we go.
Well, an ad's playing, so that's usually a good sign. Yep, we are in fact live. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Ace here. Welcome to the live stream. I'm joined today with returning guest Nico40K.
Always a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you on. And today we are, of course, back with some more High Republic from Kevin Scott.
What goodies do we have tonight?
I do not know. All I know is what you mentioned in passing. That apparently the artwork is going to be very interesting. We'll see.
Absolutely. I wouldn't spoil it for the world. So then, Children of the Storm, Chapter 3, The Taking of the Ataraxia. I think that's what it's called.
Well, that'll be interesting because then we'll actually get to see how the Ataraxia was captured and all that, or probably retaken. We'll see. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it, shall we?
Sure.
The High Republic, Children of the Storm, Chapter 3, The Taking of the Ataraxia. Hostilities between the Republic and Hutt cartel have temporarily ceased now that Hutt Administrator Scarabda has attacked and killed an envoy of the fledgling Nihil regime. Former Nihil Tempest runner Lorner D is now on the run from the Republic and the Hutts, trying to escape on board the stolen Jedi cruiser Ataraxia. But working with Hutt skiff fighters, the Defense Coalition Star Cruiser Gios is moving to intercept before D can jump to hyperspace, with Jedi Master Keeve Trennis leading the charge. But is Keeve distracted by the revelation that her former master, Skier, might still be alive on the other side of the Nihil's impenetrable storm wall?
Dun dun dun.
Let's see how many people, for the record, actually saw the plot of this comic before it got to us. So we've got the writer, Kevin Scott. We've also got the letterer, Ariana Mayer. Assistant editor, Mikey Basso. Editor, Danny Kazim. Senior editor, Mark Panacea. Editor-in-chief, Cebulski. Senior editor, Robert Simpson. Associate editor, Grace Orris. And okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, if we include the letterer, that all saw the plot of this story before everyone else got to see it.
Now, what can 8 people achieve together? I wonder.
And that's not including the story group, which I assume would be more people that would have seen this, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3 more people there, so we're up to 11 people.
Oh, the same people. What? The ones who are obsessed with diversity and dinosaurs, aren't they? So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's never really a good sign when there are more people writing, editing, and lettering than, could be found in a middle budget game from the mid-90s.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of feel like, the fewer people involved, or, well, just any, it shouldn't need this many people, I feel, just in general. It really shouldn't.
Ur says, very interesting to me, translates like even bigger shit than usual. We'll see. I haven't actually skimmed through this any at all, because I like having a blind look in most of the High Republic comics. Ur says, I don't give a fuck how they want to sell this crap. We had a Hutt body slam in the previous comic. Even if this wasn't the High Republic, the battle is already lost.
What? A Hutt body slam?
Yes, that happened.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
And I will probably be making mini shorts about that specific comic once I get to that specific issue. Right now, I'm still making shorts out of Shadows of Starlight issue 3. Because that has been an absolute gold mine for shorts material, because there's just so many things that issue 3 got wrong.
And by all means, mine that bitch.
And don't forget to, of course, tag the High Republic Eclipse game as the game that this is supposed to be from. That way, when Disney finally releases that game, there's going to be hundreds of shorts clips of me bitching about the High Republic.
Oh, that would be great. Anyway.
Yeah, let's carry on. Then, the Triton system. Once upon a time, a Jedi Master and his mess of Padawan traveled to Ortego to help combat the forest fires that were ravaging the planet. Together they held back the flames until the birds and beasts of the forest could escape. The heat was intense, especially for an apprentice without flame-resistant scales. Skier?
Not long now, Keeve. The forest is almost clear. Almost.
What is it?
A Drovan calf caught in the blaze. Hold the flames.
Me? Alone?
I have faith in you, my Padawan, as does the Force.
Hurry, please! The Trandoshan knew she could not do it. The Trandoshan knew she could do it even if she didn't. After all, she'd had a good teacher. Skier? Some might say the best. The kind of Jedi who ensured no one got left behind, who insisted that everyone was worth saving.
Oh my god, look at this thing. It's so derpy.
I think it's because of the artwork. It's like they just penciled it in and just didn't actually follow through with anything else.
Mm-hmm. And it's also, I just kind of love the name too, Skier, because that sounds like skir, which is a kind of yogurt that we sell here. So, lizard yogurt, great. I have a new name for him.
No matter how big or small. It was a lesson the Padawan never forgot.
Shall I take this one, or?
Yeah, that's a hut. You want to voice it?
Scarabda, while we appreciate the assistance, can you remind your ski fighters that we are trying to recover the Ataraxia, not destroy it?
Translated from Huttese. Now above Balloon. Rose says, help me understand, why do these people try to sell us these guys as good guys when we know they are all, every single one of them, pieces of shit? Because the writers don't realize that they have written evil characters.
Mm-hmm. They don't understand what morality is, because they don't... Yeah, because they don't have a traditional understanding of it.
This is the exact opposite of Alan Moore trying to write Rorschach, basically. Where he tried to write Rorschach as a very flawed character that he actually apparently got completely disgusted with people siding with Rorschach. You know, the guy that single-handedly stood up amongst his peers and said that, no, maybe murdering 6 million people isn't a good idea.
Oh yeah, by the way, do you know the reason why he did that? It was basically a piss take on Steve Ditko's character, Mr. A, and the question. Basically because, Alan Moore is, a far-leftist anarchist, and obviously Steve Ditko was, individualist, like objectivist, and he created like really popular characters. And obviously, you know, the whole Alan Moore thing was to make him look like a crackpot. But obviously, Alan Moore is just so married to his ideology. He doesn't realize the moment he had Rorschach standing up against people who are just say, yeah, you know, genocide is great. You know, it's just like he becomes the only relatable character. I just love that.
Like, I will say this, Rorschach is by no means a perfect character. That much is true. He is a flawed guy. The reason why most people tend to side with him, though, in the story, one, he was right about everything, right from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of difficult. That's the thing about trying to write a paranoid character. It's not really paranoia if the character ends up being right about everything. Which Rorschach was. So that's kind of there. Two, I love the fact that Alan Moore tries complaining about people associating with Rorschach when he decided that apparently Rorschach smelling bad was somehow enough to dissuade people. It's especially funny that this is Alan Moore that tried to do this. Because Alan Moore looks the way that Rasputin historically smelled.
He looks like he has never showered in like
exactly.
That's 30 years, man.
That's the thing. He looks exactly like Rasputin, and Rasputin was infamous for never showering.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason he went into Rasputin historically ever went into bathhouses was, not YouTube friendly. We'll say.
Yeah. I've seen the Count Dankula video.
Yeah.
Anywho, shall we?
Well, no, I do. I will say this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
If you ask me, though, the thing that I think Alan Moore and a lot of lefties forget when talking about the ending of Watchmen, consider this for a moment.
Mm?
So, with the exception of Rorschach, all the other characters witness the villain of the story, Ozymandias, who will remind you, idealizes historical conquerors, people that tried to take over the world, historically speaking, you know, like Alexander the Great, and see him murdering 6 million people to basically, as a part of a plot to rule the world behind the shadows. And at no point did any of them question his motives. They didn't question whether or not his logic was flawed in the first place, because even if you're a genius, you're not exactly flawless either. You could have been wrong about something, you know, kind of like the fact that if we're to compare the world of Watchmen to, real life, the Cold War did end without something like that happening. Shocker, yep. I know. But, yeah, I guess that bit is more of a hindsight is 2020 sort of situation, but even excluding that, there's plenty of reasons to sit there and go, yeah, you shouldn't trust Ozymandias. And really think about that. The ending, which is supposed to be, which Rorschach is trying to prevent, is a future. It is a grim future in which mankind is ruled by a shadowy elite that are so morally corrupted that they sat by and just went along with murdering 6 million people to gain power.
Yes. Oh. Hindsight's 2020. Also, it doesn't really help because I reread Watchmen not that long ago, and when he actually sees that his plan has gone through, it's like he's all like, "I did it!" And it's just like, you look like a fucking child. It's just be like winning like a competition or something. It's like you just murdered like millions. You cunt.
Yeah.
Oh. It's amazing.
And heaven forbid anyone actually find out that this little plot was just a plot, because then things would turn to shit really quickly. Which is part of the reason why Rorschach had to die at the end of the story.
Yep.
But I digress. Now that I've said my piece about Watchmen, let's go ahead and carry on. Laura says, Luke's ace, mistakes were made, millions were killed. Yes.
Yep.
Kind of an accurate description of both Watchmen and High Republic at this point.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Oh God. Okay.
You will have to forgive their exuberance, Commander Jahan. It seems like only 5 minutes ago that we were mortal enemies.
That's because it was 5 minutes ago, Your Eminence, more or less. And I'm still not convinced that the Hutt cartel will honor your decision to relinquish their claim on the sector. Yeah, that's another thing. Being able to just instantly end the fighting between two major factions that are at war with each other within the span of 5 minutes.
Oh, it's like they don't understand how like conflict works. It's just like, especially with warring factions. Like, oh yeah, we could just put everything on hold for like 5 minutes. We could just like take a coffee break or some shit. It's like no.
Like, there's
I
a
don't know.
reason, right? There's a reason that World War One, the armistice, had to be scheduled.
Yeah.
There's a couple of reasons. And even then, if you looked at places like East Africa, there was still fighting after the armistice.
Yep.
But, yeah, 5 minutes is perfectly plenty time for two sides that are in a hand-to-hand fighting to just immediately decide, okay, we're done fighting.
Because this is the world that these writers live in. They just think everything can be resolved in like 5 minutes. It's just like try and do that in like any of the states in Africa. Like try and do that, especially when a war's going on. Like I dare you to try that. Also, my God, that hut. I don't know why. It just looks like someone smacked him in the head with a frying pan.
It looks like he's got a lazy eye, too. Like, one of his eyes is staring off way more to the side than it should be.
Yes. Oh.
I'm kind of bizarrely reminded of some of the artwork from Battle Tanks Global Assault, specifically for the Skull Riders. That face.
I don't think I've played that game.
Alright, I'd have to show you that maybe after the stream, but yeah, that face.
Yeah.
The artwork is really, really special in Global Assault. In good ways. But it's very stylized, too.
Right. All right. Shall we continue?
We have a common foe in the Nihil, Commander.
Especially after you squash the Nihil envoy.
I am sure the ruling families will support a new era of cooperation between our people.
Considering how quickly the last era of cooperation ended after the Drengier were destroyed, I suspect that's not going to be very long-lasting.
I mean, give it an hour, maybe there'll be a new uprising.
Yeah, maybe. Remember, they stopped fighting within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As exemplified by my leading of the skiff fighter to one of your own Jedi after the loss of their own craft.
Just,
Hey, you can voice this one.
all right, yeah, go ahead.
No, like you can voice this one.
All right.
I was gonna say.
A gesture that will not go unnoticed, Administrator Scarabda.
If only we could have assisted in saving the Nihil's Berserker on the battlefield, Jedi Terek. Their revelation that a Trandoshan Jedi is still at large behind enemy lines was intriguing, was it not? I wonder if you will mount a rescue mission.
Even if that was any of your concern, Administrator, entering the Nihil Occlusion Zone is impossible without an operational path drive.
Such as the one currently fitted on your stolen craft. Why do you think we're trying to take it?
No, wait. With. Am I Scarabda? No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think we're trying to take it back, Scarabda?
For Star's sake. Yeah, why didn't you notice that maybe they would have the experimental technology on the ship now that they have the ship in their service? You know, the piece of technology that you desperately need right now to win the war.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Sherlock, cut transmission to the hut ships.
Channel muted, Commander.
Jedi Master Trennis, I'm not sure that was particularly helpful. We're recovering the Ataraxia because it's the Jedi flagship, correct? Keeve? Keeve, do you read me? Okay. She better have on a helmet or it better show that she has some sort of protective shield on her to, you know, let her survive in space.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has a helmet, but my god. Okay, she does.
Yes, but I still feel like I don't know. Like, does she have body armor like around her?
Well, okay, so here's the thing, and I didn't need to mention this. So a lot of suits in Star Wars have their own protective shielding, basically to protect them from the atmosphere or from space temporarily.
Mhm.
Like a lot of like you'll find them on Rebel pilot suits, for example.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what all is required in universe on that. Like, it could be that pilots from Naboo might not actually have them because the pilots basically just wear robes. And it might be that they do actually have them because you'd think, what with the Naboo starfighter being an expensive piece of equipment, that they might want to have something like that for a military force that prioritizes strength in, you know, superior equipment and better trained and better experienced personnel as opposed to more numerous. But I digress. Or it says, why using helmets? We already know they can use the bullshit, not the force, and ignore space. Yes.
To be fair,
Good
yeah.
point. Unfortunately, as much as I hate that. Urus also says, the Republic at its highest point is even more competent at their lowest. Masterful storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, I don't really have
I hate that, too.
I
Alright.
just miss better times with better comics. The older stuff was better. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. CT-38 to flight deck. The hull is compromised. Activating energy fields. Breach shield. I appreciate it. Why?
38? 38, respond. What is your status?
She's in pieces, learner. Like your escape plan.
All units converge on the Jedi's position. Blast her to the Nightlands.
Zzz. It's breaking orbit. Engage tractor beam.
Full power to engines, Kev 4.
You want to voice this character too?
Yeah, sure. But, Mistress Lorna,
Just do it. If they won't let us leave, we'll take them with us.
Ura says, wait, why did the robot wait to raise shields until the fucking craft was damaged? Another good point!
Oh, good point.
Yeah, why didn't they raise the shields until they were already boarded?
dude, there's so many incompetents, it's kind of hard to keep track of it all. Jeez.
Ura says, luckily we have the previous comments to measure this stupidity, because otherwise this would be beyond woke.
On what depths are we, like, in terms of bad? Like, in what depths are we? Like, DEFCON 4 or what?
this is still pretty bad, but it's... I will say this, at least it's not quite the cancer that they have done to the Jedi Order in the past.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is like the most cancerous? Like before we continue.
At this stage, Shadows of Starlight. I mean, I don't know how on earth they managed to outdo Cavan Scott's issue 1 of the very first High Republic series with Shadows of Starlight, but my God, did they manage.
I'll take your word for it.
Right, so absolutely everyone in Shadows of Starlight is an utter rank incompetent. Yoda, they completely butchered Yoda's character now, so now the entire Jedi Council abandoned people on the Starlight Beacon after it crashed into the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is extra bad because we found out that there were, in fact, survivors on there that the Jedi Order just abandoned to their fate. And the only reason that there were any survivors whatsoever is because a Padawan decided to disregard the orders and actually go there to do a rescue operation behind the Jedi Order's back.
I just kind of feel like the Jedi Order would just go on a rescue mission anyway.
You'd think so, but apparently not. And on that subject, to add insult to injury, Yoda personally said that a Jedi Master being cut off behind enemy lines was just the will of the Force, and they should just abandon her to her fate, specifically because she brings light to the darkness in that area.
Leave her to death, you say? Yes. Fucking good.
That is what they did to Yoda. He also teams up with a dark side user, who ends up and inadvertently ends up being involved in an entire city getting destroyed as a result. Because the dark side user, with Yoda basically 20 feet away, pulls a Jedi mind trick on another character at a ship's navigator and causes the cruiser that the ship's navigator is on to crash into the city and destroy the entire city. So yeah, Yoda was indirectly responsible for that and only noticed after the guy had done it. The wisest Jedi of all time.
Yeah, an icon of Star Wars. Just
so
amazing.
Yeah, that's what they did to Yoda, and that's what they did to the Jedi Order. The Nihil commander, Marchion Ro, is not much better. He ends up sitting on his ass doing nothing for 4 fucking months in a row. They basically just have the same... Well, you already saw that. You were there.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, they had the same panel over and over again. Even in the rest of the story, he doesn't actually do anything and just gets everything handed to him. And this is the guy that is kicking the Republic and the Jedi Order's ass throughout the entirety of the story.
The man who made Rey look more competent. Who made Rey look like she actually did more.
Rey put more effort in than this guy did. And this is the guy that makes the Jedi Order and the Republic look like utter rank incompetence by comparison, because, sadly, they are utter rank incompetence by comparison.
Oh. Yes.
Rose says, the day you make a ranking of the crappiest to most mid, you need us in person to help you commit die ace. Yes, I do.
And I'll be there.
It's going to be a very, very long thing because I have so much High Republic to actually get through, and because I'd have to cover all of it. I've been thinking one of the other things I've been thinking of is just a video titled "Everything Wrong with the High Republic," and it's just a compilation of all of the various screw ups that we have seen on stream.
Would it be a good idea to also show what damage they do to the Star Wars brand? I mean, already just the sequels themselves already kind of hurt the brand in a lot of ways, but how this one in particular. Well,
if I tried to, I could in theory in some ways do, Well, the thing is, on stream itself, a lot of times we end up explaining on stream why these are screw-ups and why these are bad ideas. So I think that kind of would go hand in hand there, at least, if we did it that way, just show clips from the stream.
Yeah. True.
Rose says everything wrong with the High Republic. The High Republic, yeah.
All
All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Yes.
The "we'll take them with us," I assume, is what you read already, right?
They will. We'll take them with us. Yes, I already read that.
All right. Yeah.
They're pulling us with them, Commander.
Full reverse, all thrusters. Greek.
It's no good, Mistress Laura. The superstructure won't take it. We'll be torn in two. Then we need to offload some ballast.
Okay, I don't think that's exactly how that works.
You're being torn in two. That's not going to help much. Oh. Oh. It's like,
I
okay.
assume that if they're smart, right? If they're smart, they'll have some sort of weird bug where the tractor beam just locks onto or just pulls all the stuff there instead of the actual ship. If they're smart.
I could sort of understand this kind of move, right? If they were being pulled into something, like maybe say like a dangerous wormhole or something, and they needed to, because they're so heavy and they need to let off some load so they can, fly off in the ship. That old classic. But for a ship that's being torn in two, I don't really think this will help much. But who knows? Maybe there'll be a glitch in the system.
Aurora says, this does nothing. With this technology, it doesn't work that way. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Kiev to Gios, Luna has jettisoned cargo. We see it, trying to disrupt the tractor beam. No, it's more than that, I sense. Fear coming from the containers.
What?
Scan the cargo, Jolak.
Scanning, Commander. Confirmed. Multiple life forms detected within the containers.
Life forms? She was hauling people on a Jedi ship.
Okay. So is the idea that the Jedi are gonna rescue them while we're just gonna escape? Because I mean, I can sort of understand it, but after seeing how the Jedi are so incompetent and some of them are straight up just evil, who knows? I mixed feelings on this.
Yeah.
Kill the tractor beam, Scarabda. Did you know about this?
This had nothing to do with me, Commander Shaheen. Oh, wait, that's your character. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Kill
okay,
the tractor beams. Scarabda, did you know about this?
This had nothing to do with me, Commander Jahen. Or the cartel, for that matter. A little side project for my former enforcer, perhaps.
A side project? Gios, open your hangar bays. Tarek Aldan Yalak.
What the hell? It's multicolored. Okay. We'll use the Force. We'll use the Force to maneuver them inside before their oxygen runs out. Already ahead of you, my friend.
Yeah, but then that kind of takes away the whole point, because seeing how large these containers are and how much space there is there, I mean, if you're familiar with that one submarine from last year, you know that a space like this is going to have air for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Doesn't quite work when, doesn't really quite work as a plan when, if you know they have at least a few days worth of air there.
Oh, you know what? They'll be fine. They'll totally come up with something. It's like, oh, the air, we have an air refresh rate or some shit like that. You know, that classic sci-fi bullshit. Actually, I wouldn't put it past them.
Or it says, oh, okay, now that may be intelligent. Throw captives away. Fuck, a decent plan. Then again, the Jedi in this continuity are monsters, so I don't know that. Yeah, another valid point.
Mm-hmm. But what about Lorna D? Lorna D, we'll see you in hell, Jedi.
Maybe sooner than you think, traitorous headtail. Scarabda, surrender or die, D.
Actually, I'll take the third option and take you with me.
Oh, wait, so Scarabda had a tiny-ass ship, was going to charge headlong
What
for
is he,
no explicable reason.
What is he, a 40k orc or some shit?
This is not the sort of thing that a member of the Hutt cartel would do. I am just saying. Imagine if Jabba the Hutt tried this. He would not try this.
No.
There is not a Hutt out. There is not a member of the Hutt cartel out there that would try this shit.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't even know who would try this thing. Maybe the Sam people? Hello. No. And take you with me.
We've been here before, Lerna. Stop running and surrender while you have the chance.
Surrender? Sounds like you don't know me at all.
Crackle. See, that's where you're wrong. I've read your files. How you were trafficked as a child, sold into slavery by someone you trusted, loved even, and now you do the same to others. Have you learned nothing?
Are they really doing a tragic backstory for this thing? I don't even.
Yeah, apparently they are.
Which is always a good sign, because I always feel like people can just milk tragic backstory to make people think twice. Maybe this character is more deeper than we thought originally. It's just like I don't know. I think it's kind of unnecessary.
If you ask me, I think it's also kind of it's kind of a case of you were turned this way. You didn't really have a choice. You were turned this way because of your circumstances, which is kind of a very demeaning way to look at things.
It's like, okay, so everything, I just kind of view things like this. So she was turned into slavery. She was trafficked as a child, and now you're doing it to other people. It's like, it's not my fault. It's like, don't take responsibility for your own actions. Like, bullshit. It's like, you chose to still enslave other people. Like, you can take control of your own life. You didn't have to become a slave. You still chose to do so.
Yeah. If you ask me, I'd actually go take it a step further and say the fact that whenever someone does that and says that they're just a victim of their circumstance and had no choice, that actually makes them even worse and more evil.
Yeah.
That's just all the more reason to cheer on when they get punished for doing stupid shit. Because they're dragging everyone else down with them that might have had a rough background. By pretending that they're somehow lesser than everyone else just because they had a rough background. No, motherfucker, that's not how this works.
Exactly. Like, I It's kind of funny though because I've heard this from a few people. Like, oh, I had a father who was physically abusive, and so I was physically abusing other people. But I'm not in the wrong. It was my dad. See, but it's just like no, it's like obviously I can understand like a difficult circumstances, but I more so empathize with a character when they choose to do like they live through something horrible and they choose to do the exact opposite because they know how hard it has been, so they try themselves to not to not live that way. You know what I mean? Like I think that is just I don't know. Maybe I'm just going on a tangent.
Ura says, I give up. A motherfucking criminal knowing backstabbing, dirty, underhanded tactics, and every trick under the book gets in front of 4 heavy blaster batteries with a simple patrol craft. Yes.
Yes. And shwoo.
Writing. Sorry.
Writing. I've learned everything I need to know about you. Kiev Tranus, a Jedi with no stomach for war, who stopped her marshal from killing me when she had a chance. I won't make the same mistake.
You're right, Lorna. We're nothing alike, you see. I never give up.
Shwoop. Wait, what is happening?
Never cut and run.
Shwoo. Ah! Wait, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
No. It was the Force.
Oh. That's more funny than badass. It's just what? Oh. I don't...
Also, did they completely change the artwork yet again?
Yes, they did.
What is it with this comic book series not able to have a consistent art style? Is it just beyond the capacity of the artist? Why the fuck did this artist get hired by Disney?
I don't know. Sprouting the same politics, being of the correct group of people. I sort of imagine. Oh hell, maybe the most common method. They have an inside. You know,
Maybe
someone's already.
Yeah. All right. Aura says
yeah.
it was the Force. I want to use the Force, the physical one, to cave your head in. Yeah. Me too. Commander Jaheen, this is the Ataraxia. The ship is secured. As are the
containers, Master Trennis.
Oh wait, no, sorry, that was your character. Sorry.
As are the containers, Master Trennis. And the people? Dr. Ginoli is seeing to them now. Looks like Dee fitted life support generators within the units. Maybe she's not such a monster after all. But talking of environmental concerns, do you know your cargo doors are still open, don't you? Are the Ataraxia systems fully operational, Velko? I'll close the doors. As soon as Sarat and Tarek are on board. Sarat and Tarek, they should be returning to the Geos.
We're afraid. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're afraid that won't be happening, Commander Falco Jaheen.
Jedi Yarlok will accompany you to the core. We have other business to attend to. Other business? What the hell, Tarek? We've received orders to return to Coruscant. The only place the Ataraxia is heading is into the occlusion zone. Why aren't you taking any soldiers with you or crew? You're expecting 3 people, Jedi admittedly, but 3 people to man the entire ship? You don't think this will potentially backfire spectacularly? This is a secretive piece of equipment on the ship that they need to be able to reverse engineer. At the very bare minimum, get a crew.
Yes.
But no, we're going to launch a rescue mission with a ship, a cruiser that is staffed by exactly 3 people.
You could have at least, like, can't you, like, make a detour, maybe? Like, you know, quickly get the people off board to some better place and then you know, get on with the rescue? Maybe?
Maybe. Again, and also, as I've said, the ship has the experimental nail technology to pass through the occlusion zone, and you are not letting the engineers have a look at it, see if they can reverse engineer it. You know, so you could have the entire fleet of the Republic go through.
You know, something that would be extremely handy, but hey.
A war-winning piece of equipment, and you're just going to hand it back to the enemy through a rescue operation that includes a grand total of 3 people.
Writing.
What the fuck, Kevin Scott?
I mean, what did you expect? It was Kevin Scott.
Aura says, are we really going to try to humanize this bitch? Do we have to speak of the fucking war she was a part of? The thousands, if not millions, she has likely killed? Is this because she woman?
She is, she's... she is that and more, let's just say. Ultra women. Super women too, I don't know.
Alright, let me continue this pain and get it over with as quickly as possible, because I think we're close to the last page or so. The only place the Ataraxia is heading into is the occlusion zone. The zone? Keeve, no! You said it yourself, Velko. We need to path drive to cross the storm wall. If there's even the smallest chance that Skier is still alive, no one gets left behind, Commander. Not this time.
No one leaves behind, lizard.
But what about the prisoner, Keeve? What of Lorna D? Oh, she's coming with us. We're about to plunge headfirst into enemy territory. I need someone who knows the way. Yes,
be continued
with exactly 3 people to guard her and command the ship and manage the ship all in one go. God help you if there are any boarding actions, you know, like through that massive fuck-off hole that's in the side of the ship that you cut through yourself, which you're not going to be able to repair because there's only 3 fucking people on the entire ship that can do that.
I could just sort of imagine there would be like, hey, is any of you like an engineer? Do you know how to repair this stuff? Like, that would be great. Thanks.
2, how are you going to be able to safely secure her? Because, again, you have 3 people to do that and run the ship.
Like, I would, you know what? You know, this might seem like the monsters action, but then again, the Jedis are monsters in this anyway, so I would say the best option, if you want to keep the entire crew safe, just off the bitch. Seriously, just off the bitch, get her the fuck out, and at least your chances are higher, even with the crowded crew, which is just cancer enough.
Like, alright, so yeah, that too. Why do they actually need her to navigate for them? Isn't most of this just Republic territory that has been seized in the first place? Or, I know some of it is relatively frontier territory, mind you, but still.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't exactly stop the Jedi from before from just showing up to some of the more outlying areas.
No.
So, this... the level of pain is
And,
not as bad as Shadow of Starlight, but this is still pretty bad.
It's like on the crust of the bottom.
Yeah, it's worse definitely than some of the comics that aren't completely trash. Absolutely, so it's worse than say Temple of Monster Peak, or something like that. But I will say at least it's not as bad as the worst of say High Republic Adventures or Shadow of Starlight. But my God, is this still pretty fucking atrocious?
Well, they just give it time. Give it time. Maybe this will. I don't know. Like, this is the thing with High Republic. I don't know if this will be the worst thing in the world because it's kind of like a juggling act, but it's a juggling act of a clown just like throwing pieces of shit around. I don't know which one is going to be the absolute worst. It's like in the long run because it can just surprise you
In the worst ways. The only good plot point that they had was the fact that they had a backup plan to try to distract the tractor beam by having all these people, be in containers as cargo, specifically as part of an escape plan.
Mm. Oh, and also another thing is considering the ending. How much is because again she mentioned tragic backstory because every villain has to have a tragic backstory. How much do you want to bet she's gonna have a redemption arc?
Oh, of course. You know she is going to have a redemption arc after,
Of
killing plenty of people, doing all kinds of chaos and mayhem. She is absolutely going to have a redemption arc because this is Disney.
I just kind of miss the days when villains outright were just villains. Like I understand it can be very cartoony because obviously every human is very different. But like sometimes I'm just fine with like a villain being a pure on villain. And I feel like in this case, like this is someone who was raised a slave and then chose to become a slave, like a slaver. And I'm just like, yeah, it's like pure villain, maybe just kill her. That'd be great. That actually might be the hell. If they managed to do that, I would unironically give it a thumbs up. Just a small one. Nothing too mesmerizing.
Yeah. Well. All right. Let's see here what some of the comments are here.
They're all from Uros. I love that.
3 Jedi, 1 incompetent, 2 brain damaged. Also, 1 enemy combatant. Maintenance and combat droids staffing the ship are destroyed. The ship is structurally compromised. This is flawless. Yes. What a beautiful summary of this entire situation. It's still not, and it's still worse because they have the experimental piece of equipment on board that they really, really should be taking back to, Coruscant or a place where there's plenty of engineers, naval engineers to actually study the thing. So you could build more of the things and get them through the storm wall and have an entire fleet that can kick the ass of Marchion Row. But no, we're not doing any of that.
Not even remotely. And
we're just basically handing the enemy back their equipment.
How effective do you think these riders would be in an actual war?
They would be good at catching bullets. They'd be the sort of guys that the Soviets would be sending into enemy fire at Stalingrad until the enemy fire got too strong, then they run back only to get mowed down by the NKVD. The difference is that those guys that actually had to do that had to get shot by their own men, didn't actually deserve it. These assholes, considering the shit that they've done to Star Wars, absolutely do fucking deserve it at this point.
So you know what? How on the shit ranking scale, from 1 to 100, what are we talking here?
Is 1 90? Shittiest or 100
As
shittiest?
Okay, so from 1 to 100 on the shit scale. What are we talking here? A full 90?
Yeah, but is the 1 the shittiest or the 100 the shittiest?
100th shittiest, I think.
So I'm going to go with, in comparison to other High Republics, I'm going to put this at 77 out of 100 on the shitty scale.
Fair enough.
It's
Fair
definitely
enough.
worse than average, so it's above a 50. It's not
above,
quite the territory of the original High Republic or Shadows of Starlight, which is where Shadows of Starlight, I would say, would have to be. I would put Shadows of Starlight at bare minimum at 95. And the original High Republic would at bare minimum be a 90, definitely. With Adventures being maybe a 93.
Hmm? By the way, do you know how, because of how shit these series are, they barely show up in my comic book store. It's like barely.
There's a couple of comic book stores I visit every now and then, and I've seen a few of them at some of them. But, yeah. The fact that I've also heard from other people that have been looking through their bookstores at
Hello?
anyways, so
Yeah.
as I was saying, I end up going. I had some other people that have been on here that have went through their own bookstores and found these things on discount for just ridiculously cheap prices because no one is buying them. And of course, then there's also the fact that Disney just has channels that are showing the comics in full, just every single panel, and on YouTube for free.
At that point, why even have physical copies?
And well, in theory, you could argue that a physical copy is at least a collector's item.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really work, though, if nobody wants to collect the things because they're just god-awful. We might, who knows, maybe a decade, 2 decades later or something, they'll be seen in a similar vein as, say, after they get declared non-canon because Disney has finally had enough and either Kathleen Kennedy and her crew just got the axe, or Disney just shut down completely. They become collector's items or something. That I could potentially see because, hey, the comics that took down Disney, that would actually be interesting, a story. Similar-ish to E.T. for the Atari 600, mind you, but...
Yeah. I also think if this ever, because obviously my dream was just for the sequel trilogy and obviously High Republic for a whole lot of it for just to be uncanon. I would want to maintain the few good ones, because I mean stuff like the Blade and stuff like that. It's just, not everything, diamond in a rough, that kind of situation.
Is crap on it, but yeah.
Yeah, but a whole lot of it. It'd just be like, kind of like clearing shit of a diamond, if you know what I mean. But
Let me actually see if I can find some of the comics here. Star Wars audio comics. Okay, so
actually, since you're talking, let me see on my
so
end.
there are audiobooks as well, apparently.
Let's see.
Or that are available at least online. Just trying to find the actual channel that has the comics because I really want to see just how many views some of these comics actually have because I think that would be...
Oh my god. Okay. So they have the omnibus collection Jedi Light of the Jedi in the one comic book store that exists in my country. You want to guess how high they are selling it? Because they want to turn on their investment.
How high?
$140
for a comic book, a single issue.
For an omnibus, basically, but for this,
that
$140.
Insane.
That is, yeah.
Okay, so the channel I found it's called Star Wars Comics Story. It's got 19,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
High Republic Shadows of Starlight issue number 2 has 1.2 thousand views.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I've got individual shorts that are High Republic related that have more views than that. And I don't have the... And I don't... Here's another one. So apparently the Children of the Storm issue number 2
Mm-hmm.
has, which just showed up yesterday, 436 views. You know,
Yeah.
for a Disney-backed video of High Republic.
And even a throwback is not enough to. It's like 29,000 views. Hmm. I think, yeah, I have several videos that are higher than that. I don't know. Could it just simply be that? Well, obviously, Star Wars has really fallen in the views of the public, and just in general, the people just don't want to read more Star Wars.
I don't really know. That's just...
I will say, I do agree with several YouTubers. The best way for Star Wars, just put this thing on ice for a while. I know for a damn fact that Disney's not going to do that. But like this is what you have to do if you want to save the brand. Put it on ice, 5, 10 years. Let it rest in the consciousness of people. Just make people want to miss just Star Wars, and just
The thing is, I do actually miss Star Wars. Because
Yes.
this isn't Star Wars. That's the thing. I think
Yep.
a lot of people do legitimately miss Star Wars and would actually pay good money to see actual Star Wars. The problem is Disney is not producing actual Star Wars. They're producing this. And it's just not working at all.
It's a shame. I mean, yeah, it's a shame.
Yes, it is.
And the thing is, just I do have to kind of laugh at all this insanity because if I did not laugh, I would just be damn crying. I feel like I've already said that.
Yeah.
So, anything else, or
I think we've said pretty much everything that needs to be said here. So is the comic here worth reading? No. It is a travesty to Star Wars. Don't read it.
don't?
And
You save your money and save your time. You deserve better than this.
So yeah, I think that's a good time to go ahead and call it. So yeah, this has been Ace.
This has been Nico 40K.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
And we both hope to see you all again soon. Until then, take care. Ace out.